Okay, we should be live. My name is TJ Gamble, and I am the e-commerceaholic, and I appreciate you watching on this Friday. This is the Beer and E-commerce live stream, and I've got a few drinks here. Let's see. I'm going to start off. My beer and e-commerce is going to be, I've gone all Southern, all Southeastern. I've got a halftime Hefeweizen, which is from a local brewery here in Opelika, Alabama. This is actually their first canning run. I have from Atlanta, Georgia, the Drafty Kilt Scotch Ale. And then I'm going to finish that off with the Florida Cracker Belgian Style White. And I've got a few guests today, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Daniel. I work at Espresso Parts, who's been a Magento merchant here for a few years. And my beer today, I have a couple to show off, although I doubt that I will make it through two of them. One of them here is the Big Bad Baptista, which is a variation on the Big Bad Baptist, which is one of my favorite beers. And the other one here is a Boot Stout from Stone.
Ooh, that's fun. That
yeah.
Sounds good. I want some now. I want some now. Nice.
Go ahead and introduce yourself there, Bart.
I'm Bob Raz. I run a company called Sumo Heavy. We've been doing e-commerce for almost 8 years now. I've been in Magento world for, wow, Magento is beta. Wow, that's a long time. I just went simple. I went with Stella. That is it. Make it easy. Nothing fancy. Just Stella.
I'm going to start off with this halftime here. I've been looking forward. I've been trying to find this one. It's kind of hard to come by locally. So I'm going to give you the full sound effects here. So
nice.
I threw a few topics on the channel just so we have something to talk about if we want to. We will just kind of jump into the rabbit hole and let it take us wherever it takes us. People can post in the chat if you have anything in particular you want to say about what we're talking about, or if you have any questions you would like for us to answer. So who knows where this is going to go. It gets more and more entertaining the deeper we get into the beers.
That's right. That's the only way to do it.
We've pretty much got the entire country covered here, though. I'm in Alabama in the southeast, and Bart, you're in the northeast there, right?
I'm in New York City.
So New York City, and then Mr. Nettleton is in the Pacific Northwest. I'm gonna call him Mr. Nettleton the whole time because his Twitter handle just messes me up.
There's a lot of confusion around what my first name actually is, and so that's perfectly fine.
We're gonna set the record straight. Okay, what's the deal with the Twitter handle?
All right, so my first name's Daniel. My middle name's David. Last name's Nettleton. That one's pretty easy. Most people around here that I've known for a while just call me D or D David. My mom calls me D David, but I've adopted my first name for professional use because the initial thing is very confusing. So I've left my Twitter handle as is because it's very confusing to change a Twitter handle on people. So my Twitter handle, DDavidN, is just my first initial, my middle name, and my last initial.
So if I just call you David, you'll be fine with it?
Yeah, very popular pronunciation of that.
David. Nice.
David, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the topics I threw out, I've been having some interesting conversations, or as we say in the South, interesting conversations on Twitter around the Meet Magento European tour. Apparently, like over here, we get Meet Magento in New York. That's it. You've got Mage Titans, you've got some other events, but we only have one. As big as this country is, we only have one. We need to rectify that, but we'll talk about that another day. But over there, man, you start looking and it's like they've got, and I'm not going to get the, well, I guess I can get the order right if I look at their webpage. They have Venice, the Netherlands, the UK, and Germany in a 4-week span. Now, I'm from Alabama. I don't know anything about Europe, so I'm like, well, those, they're pretty far apart. And then I look and it's like, no, that's like me going to Mississippi.
Pretty much. Europe is a little tiny place.
So it's like, this kind of seems interesting to me. I'm like, maybe I need to go over and kind of visit all of these things. I mean, I drive further than that for a meetup. I mean, it's a 10-hour drive to our Cincinnati, Ohio meetup that we sponsor and organize. So I think it may be worth the trip. Have either of you guys been to one of those overseas events, Magento events?
I have not. I would love to go. I mean, I haven't been back to Europe in a very long time, so it'd be kind of fun to go visit, but I have not. And I've heard they're really good. Like they're popping. I mean, the one in, what was it, last year's Madrid? I don't know if it was this year too, but they get bigger and bigger every year. Yeah, to be fair, we have Imagine, like the big boy of everything,
true.
You know?
That's true. I have been to Imagine. I have not been to anything overseas. I don't even get too much here in the States because I am busy all the time. But yeah, we do have Imagine. That's a good point.
Yeah, I forget sometimes there are people that actually have work to do and they don't just get to drink and have live streams.
We like to pretend.
Events. But it looks really fun. I've never really been, I've never been to Europe at all. So I've been married for 19 years and my 20th wedding anniversary is this year. So I've really been thinking about, how can I take a big trip and write it off on taxes?
Yes.
And so, that's one way. I really need to submit a talk. I'm also been looking for more opportunities to speak. And I my concern with the Meet Magentos as far as speaking is that they're at least, the Meet Magento's not bad. It's the Mage Titans that it's developer focused. I'm assuming the Meet Magento in Europe is the same or similar as it is here, where there's kind of a developer track, but also some merchant focused content. If anyone that happens to be watching, we've got a few people watching the live stream, know what the content focus is of those Meet Magento events, please chime in and let us know. We're, any sort of participation to let us know there are people out there listening makes this whole live stream a lot less sad.
Oh, don't be sad.
I'm not, man. I get to hang out with some cool folks and drink in the office at the end of a very long week. It's a good thing, even if nobody watches.
Yep, sounds good to me.
I think we're both in our home offices, which is kind of even nicer.
Yep. I am today.
I'm basically in my home office. I mean, it is an office. It's 3 or 4 miles. Well, it may be 5 miles from the house, but we're a remote company. So I have the 2 video editing interns that we've added to the team to help produce the YouTube channel. They're here. I think they're watching and just kind of editing some videos for next week. But other than that, it's just empty. It's just me. This is my playground. This is my conference table. So it's a 12-foot long solid wood conference table. And I've just turned it out into the middle to take over half the office space and, move the fridge over here behind me so that the fridge with all the stickers and the nice backdrop. And I make a mess. I mean, there's camera equipment. I wished I had a mirror to show you the lights and the camera equipment and microphones hanging over me. And it looks all nice and neat on camera, but it's chaos behind the scenes.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be. If you ever seen studios, there are chaos in the background. In the front, they look fantastic. It's just in the background, it's nutty. I guess I have the background on me, but there's Mike at the office at all times. So I mean, we do a daily podcast, so that's always fun.
Is it? I don't catch it daily, but every time I see your. Was it the Sumo Heavy Minute? Is that what you call it?
It's the e-commerce minute.
E-commerce minute. Every time I see one, I really enjoy it because it's like, this is something that I have not seen anywhere else. Like, it's always content that is new and fresh to me. I most of the time, especially if it's Magento related, I've seen it from 30 different sources. I kind of know what's going on. Mm-hmm. But with your podcast, it always is. I'm always learning something. So I really do appreciate it when I catch it.
Yeah, no, thank you. We tried to, so for a while it was like all about Amazon and Walmart, and we tried to, obviously you can't get away with news stories from those two, but we tried to throw some stuff in there. Like the drone stuff is always funny. I think we had one last week or 2 weeks ago where like they're talking about like automatic destroying drones if they get in trouble because they don't want to land somewhere. So things like that, or like delivery of fried chicken across the pond because it was, things like that are always funny to us. They get interesting and more interesting every day.
Speaking of fried chicken, I haven't heard much about it. I haven't read the story, but I've been seeing a lot of noise on social. Apparently there's a KFC in the UK that shut down and ran out of chicken. And this is like some big story.
Yeah, there's apparently a chicken shortage at the KFC. They had to close KFCs because there's a shortage.
Like, how do you do that? Like, I think that's instrumental in what you're offering.
It's in the name.
I did like their reply they came out with today, though. They changed they had a bucket that was empty, and they changed the letters to FCK. And then they did the whole, I don't know if y'all have seen that, but look it up. It's pretty funny. They did their whole apology letter, but in the picture it said FCK, which I don't have to tell you what that implies. If you don't know, then you're probably too young to know. So it's fine.
Although every kid they had on the news from England, they're very polite about it, but they're still like, we want some chicken. We're starving here. I was like, okay, well, that's interesting.
You got to try to pull off the accent if you're going to say that.
I can't. I'd be closer to your accent than I can do an English accent. Have some more.
We need to work on it. Yeah. Hello. Hello. I'm British.
Oh, crap. Now we're going to hear it from Karen. Now we're going to get yelled at by Karen. Good job.
She's in Australia. She will never know she's in Australia.
She still won't know.
She'll find out.
Yeah. She'll find out and we'll get in trouble. Good job.
She knows all.
Mm-hmm.
She does know all. Yeah. So from a merchant perspective, I got some questions. What do you think is new and hot at the moment from you guys? Like from a merchant, like from the merchant's view? Because obviously we, on this side, on the agency side or consulting side, we try to shove everything at clients as possible and make the best solutions. But what do you think is hot for you guys right now?
Yeah, it's definitely it moves slower from a merchant perspective. Just the whole world of e-commerce moves slower from our perspective because you got, plenty of great agencies and great vendors, service companies throwing stuff at us, but there's a definite limit on our side with what we can consume, how many of those services that we can actually properly use. So there's definitely a lot of conversation around Amazon with all the merchants that I talk to. There's also a limit there to, depending on the size of your team, what you can do. I wouldn't say it's new and hot, but it's kind of on the front of our minds. Amazon this, FBA, seller fulfilled prime,
right.
First party sales. I've been hearing a little bit more about marketplaces again. You heard omnichannel a lot a while back. You hear less of the word omnichannel now, which I think is great. But we're starting to. Yeah,
I've coined the term omniportal.
Okay, omniportal.
No, let's not use that either. That's terrible.
I thought it was worse. That's why I liked it.
Let's make it worse one. It's kind of like it's kind of like digital transformation to me. It makes no really. Anyway, go ahead.
Yep. So I'm hearing more discussions about that. Hey, should we do Jet? Should we look at eBay again? We stopped doing eBay years ago, but maybe we should jump back, or should we just focus all our efforts on Amazon? So none of those things are really new and hot, but the new and hot things to us as merchants, or at least the hot items on our list, they come from a little bit different place than an agency. And how we get to approach it. Some things are definitely cool. I mean, as much as we can spare the time to talk about things like voice commerce and well integrated mobile with PWAs or native apps or whatever it is that we get to work on. Different payments technologies. I mean, getting things like Apple Pay and Android Pay in there for really frictionless checkout. That stuff is all, not necessarily cutting edge from a technology perspective, but for us, it's come to a kind of stable and mature point where we're able to look at it and say, all right, so we can see some examples. We got plenty of people that are able to implement this for us. What do we spend our time and energy and money on doing? And then some of us as merchants are still back on, well, how do we make our site search good?
Well,
so
I mean,
there's things that you're always improving like that just take up a good portion of your week, no matter how much of a priority they are.
I mean, you still have to go through your usual day-to-day stuff, and the more you pile on, the more things you play with, the more you have to do. So it's definitely tricky. For
me personally, I mean, this last year has been all my time has been taken up by a kind of ERP system transition and integration. So, when I talk about things that are new and hot to me, I realize from the technology perspective that these things came out 1 or 2 years ago. Now I'm in a place where I can actually take a look and, hey, let's improve the email, let's build a Magento 2 site, and let's look at these cool technologies that kind of are just outside our reach at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing that across the board from clients all the time. I mean, marketplaces, we have a client that is in 8 right now, different marketplaces, which is so much fun. And it has to be all real time. So that's always fun.
Yep.
Yeah, that's I bring you guys on so you can ask the great questions and have the great conversations. That's why I have folks like Bart on, because they just ask better questions than I do. I'm really just interested in what you're drinking, and he's interested in your Omni Portal strategy.
Portal, your digital transformation of Omni Portal, and your logistical. Not just kidding.
But actually, yeah, I mean, keep going. I want to know what ERP you're actually moving from and to. But one thing that did come up in the chat is that Jamie let us know on our KFC deal that virtually all KFCs in the UK shut down. So it wasn't one, like their entire supply chain. They switched shipping providers, and apparently they had logistical problems, and all the chickens rotted in transit, and the whole KFC network in that country had to shut down.
Wait.
Terrible.
Doesn't UK have chickens?
Yeah, but you got to kill them and then and then get them. Like, they're just not.
That's the ideal.
It takes a little while. It takes. They just switched to the new Amazon shipping service that they come out with.
Oh, they don't have Prime now. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
But back and by the way, if you happen to be watching, looks like we've got 9 people watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I mean, this is mildly entertaining. Maybe next week's more entertaining. Well, next week we're not doing a live stream, but maybe the next live stream is more entertaining. Maybe it's less. I don't know. You won't know unless you subscribe. So
let's talk about those beers.
Yeah. Hey, join us. Grab a beer. Join us. I know for some of you, it's like middle of the night on a Friday. And if you're, Rebecca Brockton, you're probably about 10 Magento and tonics deep right now, but I can't help it. We're going to do some in the morning. The next one in 2 weeks, I'll be out of town next week. In 2 weeks, we're going to have the View storefront guys, the new PWA initiative. I think it's Devante. We're going to have some of their team members on. We're going to do that one probably a Friday morning, so because it's a little better time for them. So subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of that. But let's get back to this conversation here. What ERP transition do you have going on?
Well, what we have going on is a transition from a not really an ERP system to one of those really fun, clunky ERP systems that everybody hates. So what we were on was QuickBooks Enterprise, which is just accounting software. But we were trying to pack a lot of inventory management into it that couldn't. It's very
doesn't work.
It's very unhappy with everything we were trying to do. But when I came on board at Espresso Parts about 5 years ago, we not only had QuickBooks, an old version of QuickBooks Enterprise, but also a proprietary e-commerce platform that I could do basically nothing with. So at that point, I was pretty much stuck, And what I had to do was decide, do I do the ERP first or the website platform first? So I went to the guys that had the e-commerce platform and I said, if I want to upgrade my ERP, what else can you connect? And they said, basically, we're not interested in connecting more stuff for you. So what I had to do was make my Magento transition first and hook that up to QuickBooks before I could even talk about making the actual ERP transition. So so we got on Magento. That was going great. And now we just went live late last year with Microsoft Dynamics GP as our backend.
That's fun.
Which has been very interesting. And
Dynamics seem to be a very popular option nowadays. Seeing that a lot.
It is, and it's also confusing because if you talk to somebody and they say they have Dynamics, it can mean basically anything among the 3 main Dynamics products that are in that line.
Yeah, there's about 30 or 40.
Yeah.
I've got Microsoft Dynamics. Okay,
yep.
Here's
it's
a novel. Here's a list of all the Microsoft Dynamics. Tell me which one's yours.
Exactly.
Well, that's the same thing for Sage. Sage has the same thing. You're like, which one do you have?
Yep. Yeah, and so it's interesting because you say Dynamics, and everybody comes to you with, "Hey, we can integrate Dynamics," and you're like, "You don't even know which one I have." It could be one guy logging into the SaaS platform Dynamics, or it could be, it could be Boeing logging into Dynamics AX with a $3 gazillion implementation. So we're in the middle with the Dynamics GP, which is the old Great Plains product, which I worked with years and years ago. Hasn't changed a ton, but it still has a pretty strong ecosystem around the customization and integrations that are available, and it matches kind of where we're at, where we do some light manufacturing, but a lot of distribution and inventory management and things like that we needed support for. So basically that story is it's taken a lot of my time to implement that, as well as get it hooked up to Magento. And then it was only at the beginning of this year that I was freed up to actually go after a Magento 2 implementation so that I can hook that up to the ERP. So that's what I've been doing.
So you're still trying to build a foundation to actually build some sort of enterprise offering off of.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, at least you're making steps in that direction. You'd be surprised how many people I talk to is like, yeah, we have either it's one of two things. It's either we have an AS400 and we have this ERP that we wrote ourselves in COBOL that we've had for like 80 years. And then, we keep just hiring new people every 2 months that add a bunch of stuff to it. Or we have absolutely nothing, and Magento is our ERP. Either one of those is kind of scary.
AS400 is fun. We actually like it because you can't really connect to it. It's file in, file out. You're good to go. It's like the best connection you can do. It's easy, right?
It's easy and inefficient. Yes.
Well, I mean, that thing doesn't go down ever. To be fair, it's still around. I think we have like 4 clients still running AS400s, and they're not going. The problem is you can't find developers for it. They're all dying off.
Right. Now, if you are an AS400 developer, you're set. Like job security number 1, bro. You're going nowhere. You're good. I mean, you probably like 65 years old and ready to retire, but
all the car dealers still run on it. So you're fine. Yeah, no, they do.
So, apparently we need to be writing car dealership software.
Apparently.
Be where the money is. Let's do it.
Seems to be where the money is. Yeah. And it's a great conversation. It's good to have merchants on here. It's good to have folks from Magento and merchants. It's just a different perspective and a little different conversation. So it's great.
All right, I think it's my turn. This is gonna sound less than you. Oh, that was pretty good. A little bit of a crunch there, but pretty good. Well, I mean, it's Stella, so you got to crunch the paper on top of
it. I'm gonna roll back to, and let's get through the actual topics I had on the title of the live stream. I'm assuming. I say people get pissed off if we don't actually talk about the things that I say this video is about on YouTube. I don't know. Nobody ever comments. I don't really know if they're pissed off or not. But let's act like they're pissed off and cover those topics. So we've got the Meet Magento European Summer Tour that I talked about a little bit, which I'm going to submit a couple of talks to probably to, I think the UK and the Netherlands are still open. I'm going to try to get a talk together to submit there and go to that one. But have either of you been watching the Magento Live Australia announcements that, that have been coming out?
Nope. What's coming out?
I know.
I'm like, I'm busy working. I got work to do.
Yeah. I got stuff to do, man.
Like things to do.
It's pretty much the same thing that they went over at the Partner Summit in Los Angeles. I don't know why we're like the partner sales kickoff in Magento. It's Magento Live. They seem to get a more glamorous name. Maybe because it's a more glamorous place. You can't get more glamorous than Los Angeles, can you?
I don't know what the new announcements are because we're not actually a partner.
Well, apparently Magento is working on some core offering to connect to marketplaces like Amazon. So out of the box, you'll be able to do those kinds of things. I don't really know exactly what that looks like, but supposedly they're working on something there. I figure that'll be one of the big things they're really pushing at Imagine, along with their PWA studio.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
But apparently everybody that works at Magento, if you're not in sales, you're in Australia right now, it seems. Just about. I mean, they are taking a lot of people over there.
It sounds like it. I mean, looking at everybody going, so.
All right, great. Now we talked about that crap. So,
fulfill that duty there, sir.
Yeah, if you're mad about it, it's your problem. We talked about them.
If you're mad at it, if you're mad at it, come on the show and talk about it yourself.
If you got questions, post them in the channel. I'll be happy to talk about whatever topic.
I just want to make
sure. I want to make sure we touch on the things that I said we would touch on. And
if you have questions, we have no answers.
Yeah, if those things have been touched.
Oh. Anyway, go on. What's your next question there, sir? Take us up.
That's it. I mean, that's our topic. So
that's our topic, huh?
Let's just now we can just talk about whatever we want to. Now it's fun. It's fun time now.
We're going. What should we talk about?
Daniel Sloth. It's Sloth. Wherever he's from, apparently. Yeah, it's spelled Sloof. If you're in the South, if you were in Alabama, your name would be Sloof. I'm sorry, it would be Sloof. So, but he said, imagine being 65 years old and still maintaining some 1.x version of Magento.
And I told him I know how that feels actually.
Yeah,
in reality.
I feel very close to that. Like, you don't have to be 65 years old. You could be 40, but you're going to feel 65 years old supporting a 1.x version.
We have like 50-year-olds supporting AS400 and then trying to support Magento. It's quite a music site, actually. Cobalt does not translate into Magento world. It just doesn't. I used to develop on Cobalt. It just does not translate. That's not a thing.
I think we should pick one of these languages and just bring them back. Like, can we just bring?
Fortran?
Can we do? Yeah, Ada or Fortran or Cold Fusion. Can we do something?
Cold Fusion. No, not Cold Fusion. It's too young. There's still systems that are young. Cold Fusion. We can't do that. Like something like Pascal or Fortran. That'd be fun.
Yeah, or Scheme. Can we do something legitimate like video games? If they get retro, they come back. We should do that with programming languages.
Yeah, I think they went away because there's more efficient ways of doing things.
We're gonna have are you gonna be like the first programming language hipster where you just bring things back and just write real inefficient stuff in old languages?
Speaking of being a hipster, my wife swung by today at lunch. Okay, she come by here and she said, I stopped by. She was just close to the office. She said, I stopped by because you have the good coffee. And you're a coffee snob. I know. But I've got the McCafe Keurig pods over there. So she stopped by because I have the good coffee, which is the McCafe Keurig pods. And she wanted to just grab a cup of coffee while she was over here. And I'm thinking now, I'm like, I've been talking to David, and I'm talking about coffee, and now I'm a little bit of a coffee snob, and I think she's crazy for liking these McCafe pods. And now I've been married 19 years, and I'm second guessing it. I'm like, is this the beginning of the end? Like, am I going to have? Am I going to have to go see a lawyer? Because now I'm looking at things that look like, they look like they should be in Breaking Bad. They're like meth labs to make coffee. And she's drinking McCafe pods over here. And I'm just wondering if I'm just going to have to leave her behind because I've grown and now I'm a coffee snob.
We have support groups. We have support groups for people whose opinion differs on whether they should drink specialty coffee or not. Maybe it's not the end for you. Maybe we can still help you. I think
maybe I can work it out. Okay. Maybe I could bring her along with me.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
Just switch to like an espresso. That's like in the middle right there.
I don't know. See, the David here is posting things. He's gonna get pissed off at me. Call him to David.
I'm real used to it. I promise.
The David.
The David. He was posting things on Twitter where it's like you've got to like grind your own beans and put it in this thing and put water in it, and then come back like 8 hours later to have a cup of. You want to have a cup of coffee in the morning? You had better prepare the night before you go to bed.
But it makes 2 liters. You prep it for the week, and then when you wake up, you're good to go.
It makes enough for the like. I don't know. I mean, do you just reheat it or you drink it cold?
No, the reason we call it cold brew is not only because it brews cold, but because you can drink it cold. So it's a pretty popular thing up where I am. But cold brew coffee is stronger than regular brewed coffee. And it's easier to drink because it's cold. You just so it's a pretty.
How do you drink it again? Would you show me that again with the sound effect?
Yeah, here I'll give it one more time. There's a slow motion.
But it also gets all the essence of coffee in it, and it's definitely so much better. Like you don't have to put anything in; just drink it black straight up.
Yeah, it's true, and it's a lot less acidic for people that are sensitive to that sort of thing that can't just drink as much regular hot coffee as I do every day.
See, I feel like I need to try this, but I don't know if I want to invest in the equipment to generate 800 liters of cold coffee that I may or may not like.
So go to your local store; they will have cold brew in your store. Try that first.
I'm in Alabama, dude. I mean, I go to Starbucks and they got some stuff they put on ice, but
no. They have Starbucks has cold brew, which is okay. But in your store, you can find cold brew. I'm telling you can find it.
I would be very skeptical that you couldn't find a Stumptown branded bottle of cold brew anywhere near you. Like, especially if you have like a Whole Foods type store.
He doesn't.
We have World Market, I think, or something. No. What's the
Piggly Wiggly?
Yeah, we do have a Piggly Wiggly. We have Kroger. We have Piggly Wiggly. We don't have
Kroger.
We don't have Whole Foods, but we have something similar to it.
Yeah.
I forget. It's like
I bet you can do. All I'm trying to say is I bet you can do one step better than the Starbucks, but Starbucks also has cold brew, and it's one of their better offerings, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm more into the generating it than I am the drinking it. It's like moonshine, right? I have a bunch of moonshine at the house. I don't really care for it.
Aren't you?
Yeah, no, seriously, I don't really care for it, but it's really fun to break out the reflex still and distill it. So it's fun to generate it, but then when I'm done with it, I'm like,
It's the process of it, right? So I have an espresso just fine on the regular coffee, but I just bought like a little fun, like just to pour over. It's just the process of actually making that like nice, slowly making the coffee in the morning. Something about that just makes it so much better.
That's true. That's true.
I may just have to buy one for the office. If only I knew a merchant that sold this crap.
I could probably find one for you.
May have to get some coupons or something. Jeez.
Yeah, you might know a guy. You should probably find somebody and send him an email. See if you can get the hookup. I don't know.
Or you can just chat him right now.
You could do that.
Like the 2 chat windows that we have opened.
Did either of you see the Instagram takeover that Philip Jackson did of the Magento?
I did.
I did not.
That was pretty cool. Now, I'm excited, and we talked about this a little bit last week. I'm excited about Philip being the MC of Imagine, and they've been doing some promotion, and they shot a video with Mark Lavelle in his bathroom.
That was funny. That was funny.
That was good. You know, I'm a little pissed off because I thought I had the funniest Magento video out there with the cure for SaaS, and then they do this, and they probably got me a little bit on that. But they did the Instagram takeover, and he's filming himself making coffee in the Instagram stories, and it just looked like it looked complicated. It looked really like, I mean, I come from a family where it's like, okay, we're going to get like some Folgers and we're going to put it in the coffee maker and we're going to close the lid. And, you know, that's coffee, right? That's what coffee is. I didn't realize people get all like crazy about it.
Yeah.
Some of us get pretty crazy about it.
Just we like our coffee a certain way, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely what Bart was saying earlier about the process. I enjoy the process at least as much as the coffee. I like making coffee for other people just so I can, you know, have the break, make the coffee. It's my form of kind of meditation with that pour over. You get the circles in there, and it's a nice 4 minutes of head clearing peace. Even if you don't drink all the coffee later. So definitely the process is part of it for me. But I also get pretty particular about the flavors and all the stuff.
But with pour overs, you can actually try nice flavors to it. And I only have like a small one, just makes literally a cup. It's good enough for me, like a bigger cup. But for me, it's just that. And if I have one of those, I'm good, because it's like it really jolts you up. It's none of this like crappy coffee.
Yep.
It's nice.
Yep.
Now, for those out there that are watching the live stream that are wondering why the hell we're talking about coffee, we've got David here, and David actually works for. What's the URL?
Espressoparts.com.
Okay, so I'm looking at Espresso. the David plays, man. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny right there. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, it's true.
So espressoparts.com. Are you guys on? I mean, I'm going to espressoparts.com. It looks like I'm getting a WordPress site.
Well, that's probably because you're putting an X in espresso, which is something we don't generally recommend that you do when spelling the word espresso.
I can't
No
spell
X in it.
The WordPress site you hit when you get that is our blog, but it's nice. Much easier to shop if you go to espressoparts.com.
Yeah, I'll put after the live. Actually, we'll post it in. I'll post it in the channel here if anybody wants coffee related items. This is a great source. You know, I'll post it in the description of the video once the live stream's over, if you happen to be watching this crap tomorrow for some reason. So you know, that's pretty much how we got on the topic of coffee. I'll try to steer the conversation a little bit back toward Magento, a little bit, kind of, because that's the channel topic. Are you a developer?
I don't develop anymore. I've done development in and out in the past, but right now I'm trying to focus on, you know, running some other stuff and letting a partner do all my development for me. Sometimes it's still pretty tempting to jump back into that development, because I'm sure you know how it is. If you have the quick fix for something, it's faster just to type it in sometimes than to explain how it is that you want it to function. But no, I don't do development now. I've never been a great developer. I like to refer to myself more as a hacker type than a real developer.
A gunslinger. That's pretty much what I was, right? Like if you had a site and you need that thing finished next week, I'm your guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it, right? Because I could cut some corners. Like I can get that done. I don't need sleep. Like I'm good.
Nope.
Now it looks like you are on Magento Enterprise. Are you on 1 or 2?
That's 1.13 currently.
Okay.
The M2 Enterprise build is in progress.
Gotcha. So you're currently working on revamping into Magento 2.
Yep.
And what partner are you working with?
Classy Llama.
Classy Llama. Love those guys.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yep, they built this 1.13 site, and I liked them so much that I hired them again for M2, and then they're the ones that provide kind of my ongoing support with development and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, usually if you're a development agency, and I'm sure there's a few watching at some point or another, if a client continues to give you money when they need other stuff, that's usually a good sign that you did okay.
It's a very good sign.
Usually,
Yeah.
We don't just hand that money out to anybody.
if they quit giving you money, you probably screwed up somewhere.
Yeah. Ah, there it is. The nice sound of what are you drinking there? Oh,
I have switched to. I'm now on the Drafty Kilt Scotch Ale, which I think is going to be good, but it is a little strong after having a Heffy and Belgian White, and then you get to this, and it's really heavy and dark, and it's like.
I like the can on that one.
This one is pretty good, but this is the last of the 3 I brought out. So once I finish this one, then I'll have to go retrieve more beer if we still have more time to chat.
Only if you had a refrigerator behind you.
If only the beer were right there, then it would be so damn convenient.
Yeah, I hope it's there. That's weird. Actually, I have a question for you there, buddy. Have you seen a lot of M2 going on, like moving from 1 to 2?
Have I seen a lot of M2 going on?
Yeah.
I mean, everything we're doing now is Magento 2.
All the new stuff, but anything over.
Yeah, I mean, quite a few. You know, it's really depending on the size of the merchant and what's going on. Obviously, if you're a small merchant and you're not doing a ton and your needs are very basic, if you built a site, and a lot of these folks built a site 7 years ago, and maybe they've updated it a time or two, or they built it 3 or 4 years ago, well, Magento was your best option regardless of your size. Now,
not anymore.
You're seeing a lot of those smaller guys end up going Shopify, BigCommerce, one of the SaaS platforms.
Yep.
If you've got any sort of complexity, if you're doing a couple of million in sales, well, the Shopify costs and the Magento costs start to get kind of close together.
Well, it's a complexity that you're really looking at, right? Because if you're doing any other integrations, you have to build your own services and things like that. So you get to play in that world a little more. And the flexibility of Magento is just so much better. But I've seen a lot.
That's the easy sell, yeah.
Yeah, that's the easy sell, right? But you also got to run it. But also Demandware, or whatever the hell they're calling it right now.
Salesforce Commerce Cloud.
It's still Demandware to me. That's been kicking butt lately too.
Really? We don't run into it a lot. Now, obviously, the way we market and the things we do, most, not all, but most of the people we talk to have already decided that Magento is the right platform for them, or they're very close to that. And it's pretty easy to kind of tip them over the edge and reaffirm that they're making the right call there. So we don't run into Demandware and stuff a lot. I'm expecting, we're continuing to get bigger and bigger and bigger with our builds. A lot of our really big stuff has come to us because they know they want Magento, and then they come to us. As we start increasing our exposure and getting out there a little more with some of the things we're doing marketing wise, I expect to be in more of those platform debates. But I think Magento total cost of ownership stacks up really well versus the enterprise platforms. I think Magento is a much easier sell if you're considering Magento or an enterprise platform than if you're considering Magento or Shopify. And not that it doesn't have distinct advantages. And if someone needs that advantage, then it's an easy sell. But if they don't need it, then how do you sell the platform?
Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of an advantage on that side because we can go with any platform we want and not even play in that game anymore. But we also do a lot more the consulting and strategy side of it than actual like, hey, here's a platform, let's sell it that way. So we come in a different realm than just a regular agency. It's definitely changed our business a lot of what we do for a living. It's definitely been interesting for us. So the sale is not even a sale anymore. It's actually our sale is more of how to run internal teams a lot better.
Right. And Mike in the chat here is asking, Mike, we've had Mike Mike works at Jamerson. We've had him working on a Magento 1 and Magento 2 migration. And he was just kind of asking Bart particularly if you've had any experience with the Magento migration tools that they use or they've provided for M1 to M2 data migration and what your thoughts were around those.
I think they're good. From what I know from our guys, they use them when we move over. Obviously, when it comes to the rest of the site, we rebuild a lot of it, especially site that has been built, like you said, a few years ago. We just rebuilt the whole thing. And it's actually a good time to like redesign and do all those kind of things. But we do migrations. I've been doing migrations or the data stuff for a very long time. So, and we do use the tools. I know that. And they've been okay.
Yeah, the M1 to M2 migration tool, we've used it for some of the data. It's definitely not a magic bullet. It's definitely going to get your basic records from point A to point B. But if you've got extra data hanging out there or, you're rebuilding any parts of your site, you're definitely going to have to take those into account and handle them separately. But it's pretty stable and useful for kind of migrating that basic data over. But there's definitely a process of identifying, which data it's going to move and which one, if it's going to be worth it. Because if you have like, a whole lot of custom stuff attached to say like each customer record, then you're probably just going to want to move that all over yourself and not worry about the tool. But if your customer records are pretty plain and all that custom stuff is on your order records, maybe just use it for the customers, handle the orders yourself. So we had success migrating data with it, but it's definitely not, it's not a full site migration package.
Yeah, and I think the project we had Mike working on had a lot of custom attributes and kind of things that the tool didn't necessarily properly handle, and so it was a lot more complex than anticipated. But I think you did a great job of getting the job done on that.
It's also what you're inheriting, right? If you're inheriting something good, then it's pretty easy to move over, even if it's the custom stuff. I know you're laughing at this, but we run into every time we do this, we run into just bad. So that tool is definitely great for if it's good, but then you have to rewrite a bunch of stuff and actually move stuff over. So
yeah, and by the way, if you happen to be watching, let me go ahead and remind you to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button on the video too, because that just helps me out, and hopefully you like what I'm doing here. If you don't, then I'm not sure why you're watching me on a Friday night. But whatever. Thanks for being here, right? Regardless of whether or not you're enjoying it.
You got that down pretty well there, sir.
I've been practicing.
Good.
I try. I did if you need to get more from your Magento store, go ahead and subscribe and tap that notification bell while you're at it. And I look forward to having you as part of the Ecommerceaholic family.
Wow.
You're a real pro.
That's a pro read.
I start getting into my radio voice, it gets a little smoother. The smooth jazz sounds.
I like to record really early in the morning sometimes because it's that voice. It's that sexy voice. So wrong. It is definitely Friday night. Ooh.
Yeah, of course, to David there, I still laugh every time I say it. I still laugh every time I call you to David, but it's like what? It's only like 2 or 3 o'clock over there.
Almost 3 o'clock. Yep. Yep.
Lord.
We're in the same time zone, aren't we? No, we're not.
No, I'm central, but we do a lot of work in the Eastern time zone there. So we're right on the border. Literally, if I drive 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I cross the line. So it's it's
a weird time.
I'm always crossing the line.
Well, we know that. What is it, next 2 weeks or 3 weeks? The time changes again. And my favorite time to stand on the Hoover Dam and be in Arizona and in Nevada in 2 different time zones. That's always fun.
Daniel's just making fun of us because we're like, oh God, it's late. It's like 5 o'clock here. It's 6 o'clock for you, and it's like 23:50. Like he's even given like military time. It's 23:50 over here.
Yeah,
So it's almost midnight for
it's
him.
almost midnight there. All
I
right.
don't know. I don't know whether I need to be appreciative that at midnight on a Friday night he's watching this live stream, or whether or not I need to be sad that he had nothing better to do.
Daniel, I'm sorry, buddy.
To watch this live stream. I will pronounce your name appropriately, Daniel Sloth, because I do respect you being here, and I'm sorry that you had nothing better to do.
I think he just wants the knowledge, which is the fantastic. I hope you're drinking something there, Daniel.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I hope you're drinking because I'm not sure we gave you much knowledge.
We talked about coffee.
We did talk about coffee, which is important if you're staying up till midnight trying to watch this live stream.
That is the best comment. I'm sorry to Daniel, but that is the best comment right now. Comment is, girlfriend is in bed. All I have is you guys.
And he's definitely drinking, so that probably makes us a little more palatable.
I'm sure.
Wow.
I've got my awesome Magento koozie here.
Yeah.
So what do you guys over in the UK or wherever you happen to be call this? We just call it a koozie, a can hugger. I don't know what it's called. I don't really. It's US only. I don't need it because they just drink their beer warm. I don't need it because I drink my beer fast enough where it doesn't get warm. It stays cold because I go through it so quickly. But I just put it on for effect here. We got these from Magento to take to our Cincinnati meetup. And I was responsible enough to remember to take it to the Cincinnati, Ohio meetup. And then we forgot it at the hotel when we went to the Cincinnati meetup. And so now I have a lot of these. We'll just leave it at a bunch of these damn things. But I'll figure out how to give them away.
They made it to Cincinnati now.
They did make it to Cincinnati. They were in the hotel, but then we're at the meetup, and it's like the hotel's like miles away. We don't. Sorry.
I think that I still have the Magento coffee cup. I think that's the only thing of Magento I have lately.
Yeah, I have this one. There's a bunch of them. I'm owed one. I don't
have that one. I have the big one.
The different teams have one. There's one for like some of the different teams and at Magento, and they're supposed to be bringing me one at Imagine, and I don't even like. I feel bad because I'm like disgracing this thing by putting the McCafe Keurig pods in it, but the Daniel's going to help me with that.
Daniel. I have the big cup from like Magento Imagine 1.
I've got that massive Mage Talk cup over there, which is just ludicrous. Like I would have to fix like 8 cups of coffee to fill that thing up.
You would go through the box of McCafe's.
Yeah, it's like 100 Keurig pods there. I'd have to like brew them all to fill up this massive Mage Talk mug that they gave away. I think it was the 2016 they gave that away.
Oh boy, that's
I didn't.
The funny thing is I actually use it over there by the Keurig, and I take like 5 or 6 of those Keurig pods and put in that out of the box. So they're right there by the, like, it's big enough to hold a bunch of those pods to sit next to the Keurig.
Telesh just came on. He should jump in.
Telesh, man, you got the link. If you want to jump in, David is going to have to drop here in about 7 minutes. If you want to take his place, jump in here.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Telesh is, man, I love Telesh.
Me too.
I hate his accent though. Like I hate it.
Yeah. Yes, Telesh. We're still yes, coffee. Yes, coffee.
Dude, we're still we did touch on the topics we spent in an hour. We spent a minute and a half talking about the topics that I put out for this particular live stream, and then an hour talking about coffee.
Hey man, sometimes it's the greatest. By the way, I also live in New York. If you hear
he said he'll hop on in a few minutes. Is that a train?
No, that was an alarm of a car.
Oh, okay.
So I live a whole block away from Central Park. It's an interesting street.
I mean, and the problem is like nobody's even going to help when that dude's trying to steal that car.
That's true.
No, they'll help him steal the car.
Yeah, nobody's even going to look. Like the alarm's going off, and folks are like, "I ain't getting involved in that."
Nope, nope, nope. I live in Harlem.
That's not my problem.
I live in Harlem. It's a fun place. It's like, can I help you open the door and get
Alabama, somebody's like pulling out a gun and holding that guy till the cops get there. Harlem, they're like, you need a rock to break that window? Yeah, you want me? I got a crowbar over here. If you need to break that window, man, let me know.
Let me help you.
The quicker you get out of here, the quicker I don't have to hear that alarm.
Yeah, pretty much. Want some keys? I might have them too. Wow.
Yeah, I got a locksmith kit. Yeah.
Well, we just went somewhere.
Yeah.
We just, that's what this is about, man. It's just cool ass Magento folks hanging out on a Friday evening, drinking some beer. That's really all this is. I put topics out there to fool people into watching. We're just having a good time. And I am completely and totally out of these 3 beers. So I'm going to let y'all talk amongst yourselves while I go get another 1 or 2 there.
I'm so jealous of you that you can finish 3 beers in that amount of time. Even if I really tried to finish that much beer in an hour, I couldn't do it. I'm such a lightweight in it.
I can't. I just got to take my headphones and walk over for another beer. That's a fun thing of working from home sometimes.
It's true. It's true.
My office. Yeah, my whole team is spread out everywhere, so we're everywhere. It's kind of
we're all in one office, but a couple times a month I get to work remotely for various reasons, and yeah, it's different. It's good.
Does it make it weird if I say I've been drinking slowly?
No.
Yeah. No, you're good.
The problem is I know how much you drink and how we drink, so.
Well, here's what I told somebody on Twitter. I think I may have typed this tweet and then deleted it because you don't really know how people are going to take it. But some people are born to be athletes. They have very tall, athletic parents. You know, they
like Talesh, who just joined.
Talesh. It's Talesh. Talesh is born to be an athlete. But no, some people are born to be athletes, right? They have tall, athletic parents, and they're bred for that, and they go to the Olympics and they win gold medals. I come from a long line of Olympic quality drinkers. So it's not my fault that I was bred for this. I think this is what I was born to do.
You got the beer in your veins. I got vodka in my veins, which is crazy.
Coffee in my veins, always.
Coffee. He's a coffee guy.
It's a perfect place for you to work then.
It's true. Yeah.
That's why he gravitated to that position.
Yep.
So how have you been doing, Talesh?
I've been good. I'm trying to fix my mic audio right now. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, we'll give you a second. And to David, I know you have to go, right?
Yep, I do have to go. As much fun as because Talesh is here. That's all. That's
Is this what it is?
He's here now, and
this neighborhood.
Wow.
This hangout is getting a little shady.
Yeah.
So it's time for David to move on.
That's right. But yeah, I have to go. But it was fun. Definitely hope I can jump in again. More conversation. More excuses to drink beer. Any excuse to drink beer is good with me. So.
No, it was great having you, and I do appreciate you being on the live stream. Again, it's just casual. It's fun. I'm trying to get as many different people as possible. Talesh is actually the first one to be on here twice.
Okay, I'll go.
So I'm trying to get as many different folks on here as I can, but then we'll start kind of rolling. We'll have some of the same people from time to time. So I try to keep it casual and whoever's available, and I don't want this to be any formal thing. So I'll post on Twitter, and if you're interested, just hopefully I'll get to where I have to turn people away. Right now, I'm having to beg people. So we'll get there eventually. But
come on,
feel free to chime in.
It's gonna take like 2-3 weeks, and you're gonna have a lineup.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Have a lineup.
There's no begging me. You just said do it.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, let me hit up. I literally pulled up my Twitter, the people I follow on Twitter, and I go through the list, and I'm like, man, I tell you what, about 75, 80% of the people I have Magento conversations with are in the UK, and this is a bit late for them. And then the problem is it's a bit early for me to have a beer at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So I mean, I do have the guys from the View storefront lined up in 2 weeks, and I will be drinking on that Friday morning because it's Friday evening for them. And then I'll probably just take Friday afternoon off and, go sit at the farm or
Recommendation:
something.
definitely take your afternoon off. I've done a show where we start drinking at 9 o'clock. It's not pretty later. Just take an afternoon off.
Yeah, I probably will. But I appreciate you being here. I know you got to go. You got to go pick up your wife. So, you know, again, just hit me up on Twitter sometime when you want to be on. We'd love to have you back.
See you guys later.
Thanks to
Take
David.
it easy.
Have a good weekend, man.
To David.
So our viewership dropped when the David started leaving.
Oh, geez.
Or maybe when Telesh joined. I'm not really sure.
Probably me.
Literally, guys, I mean, we're just hanging out. I'm just having a good time, and we happen to be recording it. This is some sort of weird, you know, parallel universe where we just record us hanging out and drinking beer. But how are things been going for you, Telesh, since the last time we spoke?
It's been a busy, crazy week. You know, one of those days I ran a bunch of errands and I came home to a broken website, a broken test site, but still a broken website.
Yeah, it's been a rough week for me too. It's been a good week, but a rough week. It's kind of weird to explain how those can happen in parallel. As an agency, it's always November, December, January, February are always tough times sales wise.
Right.
And so it's really bad to have projects ending in any of those months because it's tough to pick up a new project. Yeah. And we continue to go bigger and bigger and bigger in the projects we're bidding on, and bigger the project, the longer it takes to close it. So it's just been one of those tough weeks. We did close a project this week that is about to get started next week. So it was good, but it's just one of those kind of draining weeks.
Speaking of, what's your shortest close and what's your longest close?
Oh shit, I've had them where they call and I close them that day.
Nice.
Right? Like literally, I've had them like call and like I have a contract, I have an NDA, a contract signed in less than an hour. I mean, that's happened before. Now that's probably when we were undercharging, but you know, it's still we did it, right? It happened. But I mean, even some big project. I mean, we got one right now that's probably a $500,000 project we've been working on that we closed in a couple of days. But they were ready. They had some other agency that wasn't doing the job. Yeah. They were ready. As far as long, I don't know. I got some now. I've been working 6-7 months. Pretty hard and heavy. And they're just, it's from beginning to, you know, it's just kind of holding their hand and getting them through decisions they're trying to make and then getting the people that need to make the decision on board and finally rolling through actually closing a contract. And it's still open. I mean, those are still open. So
Nice.
I don't, you know, it is a grueling, long grind for some of these larger projects.
I 2 weeks ago I closed somebody I've been chasing for 3 years.
Wow,
now, if you talk about
that's dedication.
If you talk about chasing, I'm talking about like actively working every week or two. If you just talk about chasing, then yeah, I mean, I'm with
3
you
years
on
of
that.
chasing, man.
Yeah,
that was interesting. Still got him though. That was but that was an easy close. It's just like we need help. Okay.
Yeah, you're just constantly dripping. We do some of that, especially like the LinkedIn videos and stuff we're doing now. I'm warming up people that have been or are on my radar, but I know it's several years from now before we're ready to actually contact them and do something. You know, as you get more mature as an agency, as your pipeline gets more mature, the sign of that is how far out you're actually working people. If you're an agency and you're only working leads that you hope to or expect to close this month, then you don't have a healthy pipeline. And so if you've got 2 or 3 year plan on most of these guys, if you know, I've got people I'm supposed to be following up with a year or 2 years from now, that's when you know that your pipeline is a little more stable and a little more healthy.
Yeah. Plus we don't, you know, our agencies are a little different than, you know, each other. It's, you know, we don't do project work. It's all retainer. It's long-term, you know, so we definitely stick around for longer term stuff. So it's a different close.
most of ours roll into retainer work, but it does start as a project.
Have you noticed, well, you've definitely done B2B work, but have you noticed that the B2B type projects, they take a longer time to just like go through all emotions before you close? Always.
Yeah. It depends how big the company is. I mean, we've dealt with companies that have procurement departments, which is so much fun. So the procurement departments, you have sort of people internally sold, but then going through the department world is a long process sometimes.
Yeah, we've got one we're talking to right now that's like, it's like, who's the decision makers? And they're like the whole company. Yeah, and I'm like, how the hell are we supposed to pull that off, right?
You don't.
But yeah, B2B is slower. Absolutely, definitely slower.
And I think even like the build time on those projects, they just run into like, we want 18 months build time. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
We literally quoted one recently that I think we'll eventually get. We quoted it, and we quoted a price, and they said, yeah, we're not that efficient, so we need to really extend this timeline by 50% and go ahead and increase the quote by 50% too, because we're just slow.
Damn. I would love for that to happen all the time. That's amazing.
Now they still ain't closed, but it's like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I think we can accommodate.
I think our longest build right now is 2 years.
We've got one we've been working on for, I want to say 13, 14 months, that somebody else was working on for a couple of years before we took it over. And they're probably still a few months away from launching, and it's like 2 million SKUs almost. So it's a pretty significant
it is
problem.
We have one of those, and it's only been 2 years because we basically finished the original scope within like 2 months, and the owner is like, damn, you're fast, let's do more. So we just kept on taking everything, literally took everything apart of what they have old, literally everything old, and build a brand spanking new things. So it's a lot of testing. It's a lot of moving over. It's getting it just right. Unwrapping all the duct tape. Yeah, it's been 2 years. It's been interesting now.
Yeah, those are the fun projects where you really get to go a mile deep. And they want to touch everything, and everything needs to be customized. And I mean, as a business owner, I enjoy those. I enjoy seeing them when they actually launch, and it's like, wow, we literally changed everything. You could not tell this is Magento when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And those are fun.
Yeah, we have a few of those. But actually learning about the business and going deep in the business, we know more about that business than I can. Once it's launched, I'll show you, but I can sell that stuff now.
Isn't it hilarious when you start, realizing you know more about your client's business than they do now?
Yeah, the pricing tables, you know how to quote that stuff, what the margins are, like what the shipping is, and you're like, am I in the wrong business? I don't understand.
There's some of them I talked to for about an hour, and then at that point, after an hour-long conversation, I know more about their business than they do.
Yeah, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Then they come to you with like, some plans for, we're going to be doing this or that later on. And you're like, do you really want to do that? I mean, like, knowing your margins.
I think Allie's yelling at you that you put me on the live stream. Saying, just for you, Allie.
Yeah, Ali's cool, man. I met Ali at the first 2 years ago. And of course, nobody's watching now. We're down to like 6 viewers, so we'll just talk about anything now. But 2 years ago, I had never been to a conference, not any conference, not one at all. And so I decided that I wanted to be more involved in Magento. To listen, he's taking cues from. He's been watching, but I wanted to get more involved in the Magento community. We've been trying to become a Magento partner. They wouldn't let us in. So I said, what conference would strategically serve us best to be part of the Magento community? Who do I want to know? I looked, and the highest profile people 2 years ago in the Magento community are Ben Marks and Philip Jackson. That's 1 and 2. I don't know in that order necessarily, probably. But those are the 2 highest profile people. Both of them were speaking at Sunshine PHP in Miami. So the first tech conference I ever went to was Sunshine PHP in Miami in 2016. That's like January, February 2016. And I ran into Ali and just, hung out with him, had a good time. And, really, I'm looking at his chats here, but you know, really great guy, and it's one of those guys where like he is the epitome of the Magento community, and it's kind of funny when I talk to other people, because literally as a business owner, I do not feel like I have any competitors. And that's not an arrogant statement, because I really feel like I'm playing the field. I think the Magento ecosystem is big enough for everybody that wants to be a part of it. And so I don't do things that try to, you know, sabotage or hamper. I try to do anything I can do to help. Anything I could do to help anybody else, even if they own another agency, I will do that. And so, you know, Ali is one of those guys. Ali will do whatever he can do to help you. And I talk to a lot of agency owners, and I talk to them, and I was talking to a guy late last year, and I'm like, dude, let's do this meetup together, and let's do all this stuff together, and I'll help you. You know, like, this is in your territory. Somebody's got to do it. Let me pay for it. Let me help you, because you're smaller than I am. Let me help bring you along. And he's like, why would you do that? Like, why literally, not? He's like,
that's
why
so
would
stupid.
you, like, why would you, like, he instantly thought that I was trying to screw him over by trying to help him, right? And it's like, you know, we can all cooperate and be better for it. And, you know, Ali's one of those guys. Ali's one of my boys. I'm one of his boys.
I mean, I have the same.
know?
I mean, I love Ellie. It's fun. I mean, we've met. We've hung out a whole bunch of times. Ellie and I hanged out a whole bunch of times. It's great. I was just in South Carolina for a conference and had drinks with Kevin from Blue Acorn. And it's just like, we've been friends since like one of the first Magentos. Ben and I have been friends too, but it's like you have this camaraderie that's just there, you know? And it doesn't matter. Everybody, there's plenty of space there's plenty of business in this world.
Dude, I saw you at that. I saw your social media post about that conference, and I really need to get plugged into that. That was like an agencies owners conference. I totally want to be there next year. So find me, hit me up, do whatever you need to do to make sure my ass is there.
No. So yeah. So they do owners camps, which is really tiny. There's only about 20 agencies that are there. There's really, really tiny place. Summit is for agencies from 1 to about 100. But it's totally worth it because you get to meet all across agencies and it's all owners. So anything that's said there, it's said there. It doesn't leave. So you have.
So it's for agency owners between 1 and 100 million.
No, 100 people in like.
I was about to say, because I'm doing like 101. Am I not going to be what?
No. As in people. And it's really good because they have a lot of guests. Like 2 of the best talks this year were about taxes, obviously, because they had tax guys there. They were talking about it. No, they were totally cool about it.
Yeah, I hate taxes. So.
No. But they were talking about what we should do and like what to ask accountants and things like that. It's 2 accountant guys. And then the legal one was the other one because they want to standardize our sort of contracts and things like that, which is great. But overall, just hanging out with people who have the same problems, have the same things. Like there was so we do discoveries in the beginning of any relationship we do, and it's paid discovery. There's a whole workshop about discoveries for 5 hours straight. So we talked about it, and the guy was like, "This is how we do it. This is what it is." And you have that learn. You should definitely do it next year.
No, I want to. It's owners only because I want to bring Gary to something like that. You know,
you can't bring somebody. Yeah, they're laxed about this the summit stuff, so you'd be okay with it
because he has to execute. Like I'm a network guy, I have fun, but then I forget what we talked about 5 minutes ago, and he's the guy that's got to actually implement. You
can bring in COOs and stuff like that. And what we're actually talking about is Bureau of Digital. It's Owner Summit. They do this every year.
Let's just be honest. Gary's the real boss.
Gary actually does all the work. He's not like he's technically the boss of everybody else, but he does all the work that I get credit for. He really is.
That's how my business partner is. It's the same thing.
It's one of those weird things. Like we're a weird company. I never worked for an agency. I don't know how agencies work. I just do whatever makes sense to me. And one of the weird things I did is we were actually struggling to grow. We were struggling to hire developers. We could not find developers. We were trying to find them locally. So I did like the dumbest thing, something that most agency owners would never do, is I said, I'm a pretty good developer. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to hire somebody that is, I had 1 full-time employee at the time. Actually, I think 2, but one of them wasn't working out. So I said, instead of spending money to hire somebody to do development, I'm going to hire somebody that's organized and can handle everything that's not development so that I can develop to help grow this company. And it really, I mean, Gary has made a world of difference in what we've been able to accomplish. There's been several hires. It's not just Gary, but he's definitely a big part of what we've been able to accomplish at Jamerson and what we're about to be able. I mean, I mean, you guys don't even, nobody, you don't even know. Like, what you've seen from us so far is just the tip of the iceberg.
Ooh,
fine. You don't even know. You don't even, I mean, if you don't know, you better ask somebody. Looks like we've got Genty in the chat here as well. Which, hey guys, Bart here has a great agency owner summit. We need to get Ali. We need to get Genty. I'm sorry, I'm from Alabama. It's Gentian here. Genty into the. We need to get Genty. We need to get Ali. All great guys to hang out with. We need to all just like take over this agency owner summit next year. 2019, we need to just like own this thing.
So there were a few e-commerce guys in the play at the thing. Some Shopify people, some Magento people. The guy from Irish Titan was there.
You know, I hear good things about Irish Titan. I've never run into them. Like, I don't know any of them.
Really awesome dude, owner of it. He really awesome dude. He had fun. He's gonna be at Imagine too.
When I get into, like, when we joined the Magento partner program, I went to Art Boyd, who was over it at the time, and I said, who are the companies that we need to pattern ourselves after? Like, who is doing it right? Who are the guys that we need to look at as inspiration? And I got Classy Llama, and I actually went to Springfield and toured their campus and hung out with Kurt for lunch there and just kind of learned a little bit from them. And, you know, I'm trying to pick up everything I can from what they're doing. And the other one was Irish Titan. But like, I've never met anybody that worked there. I never met, you know, I don't seem to run into them in my circles.
Yeah. So I met him at the owner summit. He was there. Cool dude. Awesome. Just hanging out.
Cool. So that, you know, we need to go. Hey, Ali is asking about the conference. Could you post a link to the conference there in the chat? Let's get signed up and let's all get our asses there. Let's make this a Magento conference.
So they also have owner camps, which is the smaller stuff. But they also, you can send your project managers. They have what else do they have? Your creative directors. They're about to have a biz dev one in Miami end of March. I think it's fully sold out. But I am going to be in Miami for that one. Ali.
Sweet. When is that?
End of March. But I will post that in a second.
The end of March.
Also the same time as Shop Talk.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to Shop Talk, but you know, and the thing is I like these e-commerce conferences, but I don't go to many because I don't exhibit at conferences because I think it's a waste of a whole bunch of money. But I just don't feel like, the thing is if it's like a $3,000 ticket, TJ ain't going. Like, I need to get this. You guys go ahead. If you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the damn YouTube channel so I can get a press credential so I don't have to pay $3,000 to go to a stupid conference.
Shop Talk is a lot more, but it is the big boy. Like, IRCE has been the thing. Oh my God. I can post that. It's not letting me post links.
You probably need to send it to
Yeah, I got it. Just look up that.
Yeah, I mean, you can send it to the chat here and Google Hangouts if you need, and I'll post it, but it should be fine.
Just bureaudigital.com. You'll find them all.
But it looked like a cool conference. I definitely would like to go. As far as like biz dev or all those, I mean, we're looking at adding some biz dev folks. We got a lot of things planned. It just all depends on, you know, kind of making money and being able to pay for those things. But
exactly. So for these kind of things, like, it's the idea that because it's owners, you can get a lot of tips. Like, it is my favorite conference to go to every year. Nice. It starts the year really well, but it's also like you're with people who understand what running a company is. And not necessarily, and the best part of you don't have to be on. You know what I mean? You go to like these e-commerce, like all these e-commerce conferences, you just have to be on as like a biz dev person. At this thing, you just don't have to be on at all because it's the same people and you're not selling them anything.
Right.
Well,
right.
you know what's cool? The thinking that I've learned is that I'm never selling anybody anything. That makes it a lot easier. Like I'm just being me. So especially if there's beer involved, like I don't need to sell you anything. I can talk. I don't put on a facade. I don't sell anything. I'm literally being serious every time I tell you something.
Yeah, but
that makes it a lot simpler.
Exactly, but I get that. But there's something about it's just a weird thing where you don't have to do anything. It's just a more relaxed thing where you know when you're at imagine when there's retailers around that you can sell to, it's a different conversation a little bit, right? Even if none of us want to do it, it still happens.
I'll talk to anybody, but I understand.
I'll talk to anybody too, but it's just like a weird.
I get you. I get you. No, it's interesting because what I like about it is that people are more willing to share the struggles they're going through in a more intimate environment, right? Where they're not going to just, oh, you're some stranger, you know, here's all my problems I'm going through. And as an agency or an agency owner, it's all about glossing over the problems. Like, we're awesome. Everything we do is awesome. Jamerson is freaking awesome. We are freaking awesome. We want you as awesome customers because you're awesome and awesomeness, right? And so, you know, there's struggles there's struggles that everybody's going through. Everybody as a business. I take the opinion of I try to be honest with people. I try to be honest about the great things we do because we do some great things. And I try to be honest about the struggles we have because everybody has struggles and you never can tell who has the answer to that struggle you're going through.
Exactly. And that's part of why that whole thing exists, because it was the idea that you can just, it struggles, it is what it is, you know. Everybody has their moment.
I think even in the Magento's fair, like, you know, at Imagine or one of the Meet Magento events, you really could tell, like, you know, the really down-to-earth agencies, because they're willing to share those sorts of things at not a, you know, Bureau of Digital only type of event.
Yeah.
If it's a bigger event, you know, they're like, yeah, we're struggling with, you know, I don't want to say it. Okay, yeah, we're struggling with like migrating to Magento too. You know, some people will be like, yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. But other agencies, they would hold that line. They will not admit to, you know,
to struggling or anything else. And you're like, we're struggling with something, right? Yeah.
But honestly, go ahead, Bart. No, I was just saying, name every US-based Magento agency you can off the top of your head right now. Seriously. And because usually the ones you name are the ones that are honest and forthcoming with whatever struggles they're having, or they're killing it, right? I mean, those are always the guys that you remember.
Wow. You got Gorilla and Groove and Blue Acorn and Jamerson, because it's on my screen. Classy Llama.
There's Zero and Imagination and Chat.
I know DMAC, because kind of US based, but they don't do Magento stuff
they're
anymore.
Toronto, right?
Yeah, there's a Luther Magento.
I talked to Matt the other day. It was interesting. They do Weblink's new work area system, which is in itself interesting in itself. I'm like running through them. Who else?
Yeah, but it's not a ton. Like I think there are 60 or 70 Magento partners in the United States. And I think I may be even talking about professional and up size. If you add in the business partners, you're talking about 100, 120 Magento partners. And off the top of my head, I could probably name 10 to 20.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 10 or 20. So there are a lot of partners out there that just suck. I mean, they don't necessarily, maybe they're good at delivery, maybe they're not, but they suck at making sure people know who they are. They suck at contributing to the community. They suck at helping Magento as a whole. And they're sitting there bitching about Magento doesn't send me enough leads, or I pay this fee to be a Magento partner and I don't get anything for it. But then they're not even contributing. They're not even actively participating.
Right.
But, you know, they're just expecting something from it.
I mean but that's any community, right? Like that's
Yeah.
also for marketing. That's also for putting yourself out there. Like if you're not putting, if it's the whole like, I heard this marketing and sales. It's kind of like natural, like just putting stuff out there and it will come back at some point, right?
Yeah, but it's like you guys have the daily podcast, which we've already talked about before. Tales jumped on here, and you've got a lot of people doing things in the community. At least like Classy Llama's showing up at all the events, and they've got a booth. Blue Acorn is this premier thing, and Gorilla and Cora and all of this stuff. But I just can't name too many agencies that are out there actively trying to market themselves properly. I mean, literally, I've put out like 30 freaking videos, and I got people coming up to me like I'm some sort of celebrity. It's 30 freaking videos, people.
You're a celebrity.
No, literally, I literally had a guy today I found on Facebook, and I was posting in one of the Facebook Magento groups, just kind of nobody's really on Facebook doing anything with Magento. So I'm trying to be active in the Facebook developer groups, answering any questions that come up. And this guy's like, he hit me up in a private chat in a Facebook Messenger, and he's like, man, I feel like after looking at your YouTube channel, I'm talking to some sort of celebrity. And I'm like,
that's the magic of YouTube.
But it's like, do you realize, like, the thing is, people don't even realize. I'm like, anytime I went to Meet Magento, and I had put, at that point, I had like 20 or 30 videos. And some guy, I don't know where he was from, but he literally grabbed me. I'm at the after party. He grabbed me. He says, "Oh my God, I recognize you from the YouTube."
The YouTube.
And I'm like, you realize, like, anybody can upload there, right? Like, you know, this is not a TV. Like, you could just post a video. Like, there's no gatekeeper or anything. Like, you just post some stuff, you're good to go.
That's the funny part, but 90% of people understand that. They don't get
Well, they don't get it, right? Like, you're still a celebrity, but it takes effort. Like, people have no freaking clue how much money and time I've invested into the videos that we've created. I have 2 interns working 20 hours a week doing nothing but video editing. I spend 2 or 3 days a week writing scripts and shooting videos just to get out the stuff we've got. It is a big investment, but there is a huge opportunity there because nobody's doing it.
Dude, it's the time investment, because I don't know, like for you, but my videos used to be incredibly technical. It'd take me about 10 hours worth of work on a Saturday to put out a 10-minute video on YouTube. But mind you, I try to keep my production value as high as possible. But the time investment is more than any sort of equipment or anything like that involved in YouTube. And if you're not willing to do that, YouTube is a celebrity type thing as far as people are concerned.
Yeah, I've got about $2,000 invested in the equipment I use on every video. That's not including backdropping fridges and crap like that, but nobody cares about that stuff. That's camera. That's the live stream setup. I've got like a HDMI capture so I can use my nice camera to get this awesome HDMI signal that you're looking at here with the blurred background. And I've got lights set up, and I've got this awesome mic here. But then I've got the shotgun mic mounted on a pole. I've got a Zoom H4n for audio recording. So overall, I've got probably about $2,000 invested in what I use every single day for videos. But that is a tiny fraction compared to the time investment it takes to produce video, not to mention the lessons learned. You have no clue how many videos I've shot where the damn microphone wasn't on, or we had some problem in post and it just got scrapped and I had to reshoot it. Or last week, I was out of town a couple of weeks ago. So I shot 2 videos for the interns to edit while I was gone, and the intern accidentally deleted them from the card before he moved them to his computer, and I didn't find out till I was gone. So that's 2 videos completely gone. I got to reshoot. I spent an entire morning just reshooting 2 videos that he just deleted.
And it's never the same the second time.
No, audio is easier.
Yeah. I mean, podcast is easier, but at the same time, nobody's doing video. So, I mean, people don't care. Like I have a Southern accent, which is like the worst accent you can have.
No,
if
it's but the best part of it.
If you have a British accent, people just assume you're smart, right? Oh, you have a British accent, you're smart. You have an Australian accent, you're sexy, you're good. You have a Southern accent, you're an idiot. That's pretty much what people expect, right? I'm starting to get some gray hair in my beard. I'm just an old fat guy with a Southern accent. And I just shoot videos. Like, it doesn't matter. But people are scared to get on there. I like it. I dig it.
So
like, I'm all about just being who you are.
Yeah. So the problem with content stuff is people look at it just one way for the most part, right? Because when we look at podcasting, right, I can do a video out of it. I can do an article of it. I can do just play around with it every single way. So can you. And I mean, because you can repurpose that content every ways to Sunday. And we've done that. We've done that over and over and over.
Well, the reason we use YouTube, like I had this entire content strategy, and it included some webinars, some live streams, like what Something Digital's doing with their office hours, which I think is great. That was on my content plan. And it's interesting. I find it very interesting that they're doing it on Facebook. And I would really love to see what benefit and what their thought process is around doing it on Facebook. And, you know, when I'm in a more intimate setting and I've got them drinking enough, I will ask them why they're doing it on Facebook. But
I can tell you.
We do YouTube because of search. Google owns YouTube. Google owns Google, obviously. So it helps us with search.
Here's why you do. Sure, you should do it on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. Here's why you do it Facebook, because you can target the hell out of it.
Yeah, you can run ads. Well, we're taking our videos. What we're trying to get into is a schedule. Right now, we release a Monday video, and we'll release a Wednesday video, and then we'll try to do a Friday live stream just about every week. It may not be every week, but just about. And the videos we do Monday and Wednesday, we're redoing as a square, which is what Facebook and LinkedIn prefer. We do like the captions, so it shows what you're saying, because LinkedIn doesn't have audio or the audio on by default.
It's auto-muted.
And it's muted by default. So we're posting those to LinkedIn and Facebook. We've just started that with the video we released last week. We're really starting. The one we released Wednesday, we're still working on the square version. It'll go Monday. So the video we released last Wednesday will go out as a square on LinkedIn and Facebook next Monday. So we're, one release cycle off to give us a little more time until we get ahead. But and we're going to play with that. But I'm more hopeful for the LinkedIn audience than I am the Facebook audience.
So you're rendering each video twice, once for YouTube and once for Facebook, LinkedIn?
Yeah, I shoot like all the YouTube stuff includes the subscribe things. It includes my name is TJ Gamble. And if you want to get more out of your e-commerce store, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell. And I'd love to have you as part of the e-commerceaholic family, right? And you do that on YouTube, but that doesn't make sense in any other format. So I reshoot the intro, I reshoot the exit. Anytime we ask for subscribes, we redo it. On YouTube, every few minutes, you want to pop up a remember to subscribe button, but you don't want that on the other platforms. But also, those platforms mostly are viewed on phones, so you want it to be square, not a widescreen. And I popped my mic there, but not a widescreen. So we add the title at the top, and then at the bottom, we go ahead and add in the closed captioning to show exactly what I'm saying. So if you're on LinkedIn, you see it. So it is a bit more. I mean, it's almost twice as much work to generate that format as it is just the original widescreen video.
I need to get me some interns like you.
So on Facebook, have you ever seen their stuff? They do. Nice.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. My video kind of count. But if you watch Facebook now, they have the Facebook Watch stuff, and apparently they're opening it to everybody soon. I think that's where everybody's trying to hit up.
Yeah, and I'm just interested in like the live stream on YouTube has been really good. We get a ton of subscribers. I say a ton. I mean, I've only got 200 and something subscribers now, but the vast majority, we get 4 or 5 subscribers every time we do one of these live streams. That helps. YouTube really promotes the live stream. I'm kind of interested in how Facebook may do that as well. Honestly, I may end up, I don't have enough people interested in the live stream right now to do one Facebook specific and YouTube specific, but you know, I haven't figured out exactly how to do this kind of format and stream it to both. So I'm just interested in the live stream aspect. I understand the evergreen concept of it. Like once their video's done, it's now on their Facebook page, and they don't get a ton of viewers. I think we've actually done better as far as viewers on this stream than they have on their Facebook stream, as far as live viewers while you're actually watching the video. But what does the evergreen aspect of that look like as far as search and people finding it?
Oh, it should be huge. I mean,
it should be, but does YouTube outweigh the Facebook aspect of it? I don't know yet. I really don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my feeling at least is it doesn't matter. It should be on. You should be working every single platform that's out there. There's attention to it, and then you just go from there. Because we post articles all over the place, and people find you from different ways, right? They might watch a tweet from you, read an article from you, and then watch a video and come to you, and you would never know. You can't combine them at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, there's definitely that aspect of it, but that's why we're just now starting to roll out. We're really just now starting to do merchant focused content, and a lot of the content we've done in the past is just Magento related. A merchant wouldn't be interested in it. Right. So we're just now starting to do merchant focused content, and with all of that, we're doing the Square version and we're doing the multiple platforms. But the live stream, like right now, us having this conversation on YouTube, it's been great. We've added, you know, hell, let me look. I'm gonna look real quick and see. Right now, my channel has 208 subscribers. We have added 5 subscribers to this channel, which is a huge percentage when you only have 203, just from this live stream and me promoting it every few minutes.
Holy smokes. My channel's been around for almost 3 years, and I only have like 8 videos, and I just got to 208. And you started like a couple months ago, right? Yeah,
well, I mean, technically we started in June, but we only started promoting it January 1st. And so the majority, we've added 100 plus subscribers in the last 2 months. Right. So we really just now started promoting it, but you know, we've put out a lot of videos. The live stream has a huge impact because, like I said, we add 4 or 5, 6 subscribers every live stream, typically. So that has a big aspect. I'm just wondering if the benefits of live streaming it on Facebook are as equal as they are on YouTube, and if maybe I need to look at doing some stuff on Facebook. Obviously I'll post static videos, but do I need to look at doing this live stream? Maybe I'll alternate. I don't know. I think YouTube is the best market for me because I'm looking for long-term searchability, but at the same time, Jamerson's and my personal social following just sucks, and so I need to work on improving that.
Hey, Bart.
Yeah.
How much do you want to bet that in 3 months TJ is going to be streaming, you know, to all the platforms simultaneously? I'd give him till maybe March.
Oh, don't think I ain't worried. I like. There's a few things I'm already trying to do to improve this live stream. I'm already looking at how do I, when somebody comments in the chat, how do I show it on the screen? Because once we stop this live stream, that chat's gone. That doesn't show in the video that just posts to the channel after this.
Oh, and so OBS does that. You could you could pop out the chat and then put that into the OBS stream.
Yes, but you guys aren't on OBS. That would just show for me, not for you, right?
Well, it'll show to the viewers on YouTube, right?
Yeah, but it only shows when I talk. Like if I put OBS on my channel and I use OBS as my camera to the Hangouts.
Right.
When I talk and it's showing my face, it'll show the chat. But then when it switches to you, no chat.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of tools out there you can probably use. I mean, it's getting better and better and easier to use.
There are tools. I've seen people do it. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what their setup is.
I think there's a new version. Well, somebody forked OBS into something called Slobs. Take a look into that. It has like a whole bunch of stuff built in that you could just like, it's all there. So maybe that's already set up for you to have the chat, because I've seen other live streams where the chat's going in one little corner, and the video chats, the conversation's going somewhere else.
Well, I'm 5 beers in, so I'm going to run to the restroom and then grab more beer. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a minute.
I'm just like halfway in. I'm having a skinny dipping stout.
I'm rocking Stella, and I have to go actually to my fridge to get it. We'll wait for him to come back.
I'll just chat with people in the chat room. But as I see Ali leaving right now, dude,
jerk.
I didn't even get a chance to say, hey, I like you too. These guys are just like gushing over Ali. And now he's like, oh, TJ's gone, Bot's going, I'm going.
Well, I will probably go see him in about a month, less than a month now. I'll be in Miami.
Oh, it's for that. It was, what is it called?
I'm going to Biz Dev Camp.
Biz Dev Camp.
No, yeah, I supposed to go to Shop Talk, and then this came up, and I was like, all right, sending somebody else to Shop Talk. I don't need to go to that. Come to Miami. I would love to be in Miami right now.
Oh man,
we will.
No, it's not that cold in Toronto. It's basically spring now. It's up to 4 or 5 degrees above freezing. There's no need to come down to Miami.
That's spring. Oh, yeah, I don't miss that weather.
Come on, you're in New York. It's almost the same thing.
No, it's not. I grew up in Poland, man. I understand the weather, man.
Before I go get beer, it was 80 degrees here today.
Shut up.
80 degrees.
80 degrees. Did you in California? It was like freezing yesterday. And we had 70 degrees like 2 days ago. It was literally 70 in New York 2 days ago.
Now, it's supposed to be getting colder over the next few weeks, but it was literally 80 degrees today. It's nice and warm.
Yeah, I was saying it was 70 here on Wednesday, and in California it was like dropping to freezing temperatures. You're like, what is going on? I don't understand. I just don't understand.
This is a strange world in which we live.
The weather has ADD.
Definitely. I've given up. I'm like, winter's done. There's nothing else left.
How much are the tickets to this Biz Dev conference you're going to in Miami?
I think it's on there. I think it's all sold out. I think it's about $2,000, but it's fully it's everything, meaning your lodging, everything is all included.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not terrible, especially if you learn something.
I learn a lot at these things, and the guy who's actually speaking at this has a consulting firm that will help you with your biz dev stuff.
Did Ali just say he's going fishing? Are you going like deep sea fishing? Because I can't imagine Ali going to a pond and catfish fishing.
He doesn't fish in a pond.
I imagine he's going to go out into the ocean and he's trying to catch a swordfish or something.
That's usually what he does. He goes on a boat. He goes on his boat.
Fishing for us, like either you get on a bass boat and you're sitting there like throwing it out and running it in.
Noodling. For the love of God.
No, I don't. Yeah, we don't do that. I mean, there are people around here that do that. I not me. I mean, I'm more of a catfish fisher. I'm more of a let's throw it out and let's just sit it down and then let's drink some beer till that shit moves.
That's about how my dad and I fish usually. But if you don't know, tell us what noodling is. It's an interesting thing. Catching catfish with your bare hands.
Oh, I've done that.
Ali has some jet skis. Why
yes,
don't you ask him how the jet skis have been when it comes to his health?
Uh-oh.
I think he had a little jet ski accident shortly after the jet skis there.
Oh, I've heard about that. Let's not talk about that. But I'm definitely using them when I get there.
You should totally do that. Ali, you got a guest bedroom, bro? Maybe I need to come hang down. I need to come hang down in Miami with Ali for a little while.
You're closer than I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's only like 8, 9, 10 hours, something like that. His knee was not a jet ski issue, he says.
You know what the worst part is? He's not on here and we're making fun of him.
I know.
It was not the jet ski's fault.
You should get Ali on this thing, man.
Well, he was on a couple weeks ago.
He
was on the week before you were on originally. And I love to have him. I don't think he was available at the start of this one. I want to say I asked him. I'm sorry if I didn't. But, I'm trying to get new people every week. And then just kind of eventually we'll start recycling people as I burn through my really limited network.
That's like next week.
No.
Yeah.
You've
couple
got
of
people
weeks
for
from
the
now.
next three, 4.
All right.
I'm not as well connected as it seems. Now, what I've got to do though is I realize that my Magento network. What is it? Oh, one Indian at a time. His name is Ali Ahmed. He's not Indian. I don't know what the hell he's trying to
not
do.
Indian.
He's not. You're not fooling anybody. But it's
took a turn.
But my network is not as big as I would like for it to be. Like literally, my Magento network is who do I hang out with and Imagine and drink beer and smoke cigars with, and who is on Twitter. That's pretty much the extent of it. And I found out the people on Twitter that I have conversations with are oftentimes across the pond. So I'm going to start having some of these in the morning. I may start alternating and having a 5 p.m. and one in the morning. I may have one in the morning and one at 5 p.m. just to see how hammered I can get on a Friday.
I think this was one of your group conversation in Oriente Europe conference, the frequency of it in Europe.
Well, we were talking about that earlier as far as like the conferences in Europe. That was kind of the purpose of this video or the topic that was set. I'm trying really hard, just to fill you in, I'm trying really hard to get to Meet Magento, Netherlands and UK. I'm trying to submit talks. I've been married for 19 years. Since I got married when I was 18 years old. I've been married for 19 years now. And this is my 20th anniversary is a couple of months after these conferences. So I'm trying to figure out how to take a big trip and make it tax deductible. And that would do it.
Just do it, man.
Well, my wife, there's a few complications. Here are the complications. One, I'm scheduled to be at IRCE. That's not a big deal. I'll just send somebody else. I'll transfer my ticket. It's not a huge deal. Second, my wife really struggles with being away from the kids for long periods of time. So it would take at least 2.5 weeks for her to be away from the kids to make that happen. So she's working on that personally. And then I would like to submit a talk and have at least one of them accepted at one of these conferences to just kind of sweeten the pot on it's worth me going over there because I'm looking for more opportunities to speak. Right. Because I think I'm freaking awesome at it. I just don't have a lot of opportunity.
I think you could do it. But here's the thing. I mean, my first conference that I attended in Europe, it was a complete business expense, but I didn't speak at that event. I was just going as an attendee.
It's a marketing expense, my friend. Not very expensive.
Yeah, but technically, like it's a tax write-off as a marketing expense. But I'm like literally, if we get a project over there, we turn it down. We just don't deal with it right now. We don't deal with the time zone difference because it just stresses my developers out. So we're not looking for business over there. So as far as like it's an anniversary trip and then we just go and it's tax write-off because we attend these Magento things, that's wonderful. And that probably makes it worth it if my wife finally says, okay. But if I could speak, that just like sweetens that solidifies it. Like that makes it, we have to do this.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for. But then it's like, what do I talk about? I got a few topics.
I was going to ask you that. What would you talk about?
Well, I've got, I've done a couple of videos on it, but I did the talk I did at Meet Magento New York was about B2B and timing. But then like, if I get over to Europe and they're all like, everybody's got a B2B website. What the fuck are you talking about? It's like, I don't know. So see, you get enough beers in me, I start dropping F-bombs, but then, like I don't know their market. Like literally, I know nothing about Magento outside of the US market. So I've got that talk. I've also got the PWA kind of business primer talk that I've been giving at meetups. I could do that one. But I create these videos in like a day. So I'm pretty sure I could create a 20-minute talk in like a day or two as well. I just got to figure out what's interesting to people. I don't know. I don't know what people like. I know what I like.
Your B2B should be fine. You just got to make it so that it's like Because most of these developers work for U.S. companies. Like you can do it that way, you know.
Well,
Put a spin on that. Top of that,
the problem with my B2B talk, there's the problem, is I spend half the talk talking about the United States Wild Wild West. Like I literally talk about Indians and settlers and pioneers and how that equates to the current state of the B2B market. And I'm just not 100% sure that will play, right? Like I don't know if that example will play in the international market.
yeah, I mean, that's a different. I mean, I grew up with castles, so that's probably not going to play well. Be funny.
I say, like literally, I say the word Indian, and they're thinking Indians, and I'm thinking like Native Americans, and the whole thing doesn't work.
Then you complain about the Europeans coming to America, and they're all European. And they'd be like, what?
Yeah. Right.
So I don't like literally. I have never been I mean, I'm going to be honest with you for a second. I've never been out of this country. My wife's been out. My kids have been out. Like everybody in my family's been out of this. Well, not everybody in my family, but everybody in my immediate family, they've been to at least Canada or somewhere like that. Right. Like I've never been out of this country. I've been heads down working. And so I've been looking for opportunities to expand my horizon there, but I may come across as a complete and total moron to those people if I start talking about the current state of their Magento market.
So you've been in Europe, right?
I lived in Europe for a few months.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Poland. So until total Europeans, right?
Yeah.
That'd be TJ in Europe.
I think they'd be hilarious.
It would be hilarious because I'm sure I'm probably won't even fit through the doorways. You know, like I mean, it's like I'm gonna have to turn sideways to shimmy through the door. I don't really know. Like, and then do I want to be like 10 hours in an airplane where I'm like cramped? If I could fly first class, that's great. But then it's like $3,000 a seat, you know, and I fly first class. And I fly first class not because I feel like I'm some high roller and I need to fly first class. I fly first class because I feel sorry AF. We'll keep it clean. Sorry AF for the guy who's sitting next to me because I'm taking the armrest. Like that is my armrest. There ain't nothing I can do about it. This is not a choice. I'm not trying to be rude. That is my armrest on both sides. So it's a problem I'm working on. It's a problem I'm working on. You know, the Friday live streams are not helping me at all with that problem.
No, not
at all are they helping me with that problem. But it is a problem I am working on. But, and if I take my wife, it's okay because I like take half of her seat. Right? So I got my seat and half of her seat, and we're like good, right? It ain't no problem. But it's still like 10 hours in a little can with no foot room, and my feet are like this long, and it's just I mean there are concerns.
I'm not gonna lie, that transatlantic flight is it takes it out of you. It's not easy.
Depends where you're flying. I mean, New York to LA, it's the same amount of time.
It'd be well, I mean, I've done that. That's like 4 or 5 hours, but I'm talking about like Atlanta to Amsterdam. I want to say that's like a 8-9 hour flight. I've never flown that far.
It's more than 9 hours. From Toronto to Amsterdam is about 8 hours.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. That's where
so even if it's 10 hours, that's some cool movies. I'll see some cool movies. I'll have to I try not to go to the bathroom when I'm on a plane because that shit's tiny. But you know, it's like I can deal with it. It's not bad. It's cool. But 10-hour flight, 10-hour flight concerns me. It really does.
Mind you, the business class transatlantic flights are pretty swanky.
Are they?
Last time I flew to Amsterdam, my cousin was getting married. I actually got to get upgrade to the first, and it's lay down seats. They will feed you like crazy. It is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, is it like I fly first class everywhere out of necessity? Like I told you before.
It's not a domestic flight.
But it's not like the garbage food they give you on those flights.
No. My friend, I flew the Austrian Airlines to Austria, and it was like 3-course meal with a chef. And he's like, "Hey, would you like this?" It's totally different world. Although my favorite airline in the U.S. for that right now is JetBlue. If you go across from New York to LA or San Francisco, they have a mint class, which is a lay down seat too. It's a full first class. It is amazing. Wow. Yeah, so it's amazing to fly on it on a red eye because their seat's amazing.
So what you're saying is all I've had are garbage first class.
Yeah, because what are you flying? American or Delta?
No, we're out of Atlanta, so pretty much
Delta.
Everything's Delta, right?
Yeah, but I think
same thing.
Delta from here to LA. It's nice seats. It's a little wider, and you get some crappy food.
Yep.
I think it's like economy class transatlantic. You get free booze and whatnot. So
yeah, it's different.
It's different. I think if you decide to do business class to London, and then a short hop across to Amsterdam, you should be fine. I mean, business class transatlantic is not something to sneeze at. It's a nice experience.
Yeah. It's different.
We may find out. I'm really pushing to make this happen. So the UK guys and Guido are giving me a hard time on Twitter about it, and I really want to do it. I really, really, really want to do it. So if I can make it happen, I'm going to get over there. Now, how it happens is 1, my wife has to be okay with it. 2, I have to sell some freaking websites. So if you happen to be a merchant watching this crap, hit me up because I can really use the money to go over there.
Look at the heart still going on there.
Yeah, I need to sell some websites. I mean, that's just how it is. But, I've got to get, right now is always, up until March is always kind of slow for us sales-wise. So, once we pick that up, I hope to make this happen. I think it would be fun. I really want to try to be at least in the running. I mean, I was a top 50 Magento contributor for 2017. Yay. Yay.
Congratulations, man.
And I'm excited about that, but I want that freaking master title. That would be really big publicity for a small little agency from Opelika, Alabama. And so more speaking opportunities is a big part of that. And I'm trying to make that a reality. So, if I can pull all the right things together to make it happen, I'm going to go, and I hope it works out for me.
Oh, you want a masters? I can help you game that. I've been training Sherry to do that for years.
Let me know, man. I mean, literally,
we're gaming things now.
I've been perpetually threatening that.
Again, I'm not being cocky about it at all, but I didn't even try in 2017. So I think with the effort we're putting in 2018, I stand a pretty good shot. But, I'm always open to whatever it takes to actually, close the deal there.
We'll talk off the air.
Literally, all I've tried to do is get on stage at Imagine so that I can embarrass myself while on stage at Imagine. And I haven't been able to pull that off yet.
Imagine doesn't count for much. I did 2 talks at Imagine 1 year and didn't even count.
Not talks. I want on the stage with 3,000 people in the audience. I want to be
or something.
I want Mark Lavelle handing me a freaking trophy. I want to go up there and I'm gonna
and then his pants drop.
I'm not going that far, but I might have a blue suit made with my logo on the back of it or something. I might do something like that, right? We'll see. We'll get there. And congratulations to all the Magento masters. I know how much effort I put into it, and I know. And I was just top 50, and you guys are top 20, so I know what it takes, and it's a lot of work.
Those are the guys to emulate if you want to really make a difference in the Magento world. That's what it's about. It's here's a bunch of people to emulate if you're up and coming. I think, as you said, your YouTube channel's been around for 6 months or so. I mean,
really, yeah, really, but we've really just been pushing it since the first, so less than 2 months now.
Yeah, and then like you've been doing Magento for a long time, but the name Jameson just really started popping onto the scene, and you started showing up at places like 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah. We've only been out there for 2 years.
Yeah, so I think like the encouragement that the master's program is giving to you to produce content and help people in the Magento sphere is doing exactly, it's just like achieving its goal, because almost no one's putting out content like you right now, and that helps everybody else. So it's like what Sherry's told me. She's like, yeah, she's told me I could try to game the system if I want to, but nobody really loses because everybody benefits from it. So
no, I really think that the Magento Masters program is an absolute stroke of genius by Magento, and all the credit for that goes to Sherry, but I think it's a stroke of genius because it's a big freaking deal for everybody that is, especially at a smaller merchant that is struggling to kind of differentiate themselves and stand out. And so it gives them a goal to strive towards, and what it ends up being is something that they have to make an impact on the community to actually be involved in that. And so a whole lot of people are striving to be an impact on the community, whereas otherwise maybe they wouldn't be.
Hey guys, I just realized it's 7. I've got a jet.
I think
I think we might as well call it quits. I was just about to text my wife and tell her that I was going to be late, but let me just not do that. I've got a whole beer here, and that is sad, but it is Friday night, and I will take it home with me, and I will love it, and I will drink it, and it will be wonderful.
And I got a dinner to go to, so we're all good.
No, I appreciate you guys, and to David. It's still funny. To David. I know Telesh missed Telesh. No, his name, like his Twitter name is D David.
Yeah, I know.
His first name is Daniel. His middle name is David. And still call him, like, his name is D. David is what he prefers. And so the David is just funny.
The
like
David.
And it's funny. The
Oh,
David.
it's so much better than my default of Mr. Nettleton.
Yeah, well, that's what I called him to start the whole thing. I'm like, I don't have no freaking idea what your first name is. I'm just going to call you Mr. Nettleton. And then he explained it, and I went to David. But I appreciate it. This is actually the longest we've gone. We've gone 2 full hours with this live stream. The people that watch, I appreciate you guys watching. If you want to be on this live stream, hit me up on Twitter. My handle is Ecommerceaholic. Ought to be pretty freaking easy to find. Comment in the thing, in the actual video here that's posted. I appreciate all you guys being a part of this. It's really fun. It's informal. Nobody's doing anything like this. It's going to be huge. Yeah, sorry. I had to bring that
out. And on that terrible note,
like, the thing you guys have to realize is, like, we're down to like 7 watchers right now live, but it gets better as we drink more. Like, the more we drink, the more entertaining this gets. But it's really just an opportunity. I realized, and the reason I started this is I realized that I only got to hang out with the people that I like at Imagine. Like, literally we go to Parasol Up, we'd hang out with these folks. How can I make that happen more often? How can I meet some new people that might want to be involved in that? How can we have a good time? How can we spend a Friday night interacting with folks when I'm in Opelika, Alabama? And this live stream is how we do that. And so I appreciate everybody who wants to be involved. You're welcome anytime. And so with that, I'm going to stop the broadcast. I'm going to sign off. And I look forward to, like I said, next week, we won't have a live stream. The week after, I'm going to do it in the morning. We're going to be talking PWA with the View Storefront folks. So if you're still watching, which it looks like we've got a few, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell while you're at it. And I appreciate you being part of the Ecommerceaholic family.